Peter Orszag, the president's former budget director, wrote an op-ed the other day where he said that we should extend the tax cuts for the middle class for 2 years, and if it's necessary to get a deal, extend them for the rich for 2 years because the economy shouldn't take tax increases right now. But they ought to expire after that, and they ought to go away because we need more revenue to bring the deficit down. Is that right?
Well, I read his piece, and the way I interpreted what he was saying was that he thought that it was important for a compromise to get a deal done, to maybe delay all of the expiration of the tax cuts.
But the punchline was he wants them all to go away in a few years.
Yeah, well, here's the punchline. The punchline is that if you look at our revenue line and you look at what it covers is Medicare, Social Security, and interest on our debt, which means that virtually everything else we spend money on, whether it's schools, teachers, bombers that we build, anything that anybody at the Interior Department or any of these other departments are doing, we're borrowing from our children. And I think what we have to do, and this is hard for Washington to do, is look at this comprehensively and say, how is it that we're going to establish some fiscal sanity going forward? Because the capital markets aren't going to put up with this much longer, and if they don't, our interest rates are going to spike, and this recession is going to seem modest compared to what's going to happen.
So it sounds like you think Orszag is right, and that the tax cuts, because we need revenue to make the books balance, the tax cuts ought to go away in a couple of years.
I think some of the tax cuts ought to go away, but I don't think the question's the right question, because we look at these things in isolation, right? And
it appears that you have not taken a stand on the Employee Free Choice Act. Why not?
Actually, that's not right, but I'm happy to take to take it now. This is a bill that clearly is not going to come to the floor of the Senate. It's not going to pass the Senate. It is a bill that is dividing people at a time in our economy when we need labor and management working together to rebuild this economy. And so I don't see a lot of point in dwelling on it. And I've spent a lot of time in collective bargaining relationships one way or another. I believe in collective bargaining. I believe in the right of workers to organize. But even more than that, I really believe in a politics where our business community and our labor community are not demonizing each other. We need a politics that's actually going to lift the middle class up in this country, and that's what I'm focused on.
Well, so does that mean that you're against it, that you don't think it's appropriate to be brought up now because the votes aren't there?
I think it will not be brought up. It has not been brought up, and I've been spending my time paying attention to our economy.
Right, but you haven't said how you would vote on the bill if it were brought up.
I haven't. I've said, I have issues with the way the bill is written. Otherwise, I would have been a co-sponsor of the bill, and I'm not a co-sponsor of the bill. But I think that it is a classic Washington issue that's meant to distract people from what we're really trying to work on.